Hello and welcome to another episode of the Audience Marketing Show, brought to you by Prospect Night. I'm here with my older brother Reese.
Hello.
And my younger brother Marcus.
Yo.
And for those that don't recognise my voice just yet, I'm Luke. As always, we're discussing all things audience marketing, and today's episode is going to be about the perks and the perils of personalisation.
Easy for you to say.
So I guess first of all, what do we mean by
What do we mean by personalisation?
Really, for me, it's something that gives you a custom experience, so something that is not a one-size-fits-all experience. And I guess the reason why I call it experience, and we'll go into a bit more detail for the episode, but people always think that personalization is I don't know, they default to thinking, does the email say Dear Marcus, or does an ad have the product that you looked at? So yes, that is personalization, but there's a lot of stuff that can go on behind the scenes that is part of that personalized experience, which we'll go into a little bit more detail today. So I think it's good to start with probably the technology that's enabled us to be able to do such great things on kind of a personalised level. I guess from a digital perspective, Marcus, the platforms have kind of caught up and enabled us to do some really cool things. And then from a print side, I mean, that's probably the biggest kind of change in technology, because imagine when you go back to like a litho press and the very limited personalization, right?
Yeah, so since the birth of direct mail, there's always been a way to personalize a mailing. So there's always been a way of being able to put people's name and address on. But when the technology was born from a digital press, there was a way of personalizing print for color. So there was ways of being fully variable with a mailing piece. You didn't just personalize something in black, which had been Luke Knight, lived at ABC, but now there's technologies out there that allows you to fully personalize a mailing piece, whether it be images, name, slogan. So yeah, the technologies there have really enhanced what you can do offline.
So you could ultimately say you were sending, let's keep it simple, say you were sending a postcard to 5,000 people.
Yep.
There could be 5,000 different, obviously, names and addresses, but there could be 5,000 different images, offer codes.
You can pull in, and it goes back to our first podcast we did, as long as you are fully understanding your audience, and another podcast we did, which is collecting the correct data. As long as you're collecting the correct data, you can personalize whatever you want. So I can serve Luke anything, any data that we have on Luke, we can serve him.
That's amazing. So I think, to summarise that, kind of really stop, the point really is to say that we're in a very exciting time from a marketing perspective. It's a very exciting time to be working in marketing, because we have the ability to do so much targeting and personalisation, which is excellent. But it's crazy. There was a stat. It was something like 70% of retailers still don't use personalisation in their marketing, which is insane.
It is, and I think with that, the reason that is quite insane is because as so users demand that, almost people want to have a personalised experience when they go to your website, when they get an ad from you, when they receive an email, like people, because they come to expect it, because there is so many cool brands out there doing personalisation, like through advertising, also through like offline products and things like that. But
well, have you got your name on a Marmite jar?
I have, yeah. I don't actually know, but I do.
Or a Coca-Cola can.
No, I never found Marcus. But no, I don't. But that is a big trend as well, right? Being able to personalize your own products, like, and then that's transferred over to advertising as well. Like when you go to Google and search something, like you expect the results to know things about you. Like if I'm on Google now and I search bus times, like I'm gonna know it's gonna put me the bus stop over there. Like 5-7 years ago, I wouldn't have done that. I would have typed bus times Cambridge Heath, and then I would have found the right bus time. So people are just becoming more used to having an experience online that is about them. Like I think you said it, Reese, before about like an Instagram feed. Like if I went on it and you went on mine.
Yeah. Yeah, if you change it over, we're all seeing different things, right? We're all seeing the algorithms on social media are serving us ads or serving us organic posts what they think we want to see. So we're all seeing a different social.
Because it's personalised.
Yeah, it's crazy. I look at Kirsty, my wife's feed when she allows me onto it, and I'm scrolling through and it's completely different. It's crazy, really, and I ask everyone to do the same. Like, ask a friend to scroll through their first 10 things on Instagram, and you'll be amazed what they're seeing. And it goes the same with YouTube. Like, I'm a big fan of watching YouTube when I get home and catch up with the boxing news, catch up with the latest news on anything, and it's crazy what I'm being served differently to other people.
And I think the reason that is so interesting is because it's easy to forget. Like, you go onto YouTube and you expect to see something that's right for you, that's interesting to you, and people just become used to it. So when I search for something on Google or Bing and the ad is not personal to me at all, in the sense of, like, they're trying to sell me women's trainers, for example, I'm then really put off by that, right? Because I've just come to expect it through social media, for online, for offline, that the world revolves around me. When I'm online, the online world revolves around me.
And that's the thing, we do live in quite a selfish world, isn't it? And people do expect things to be tailored to them. People want information quick. They want it to be relevant to them. And for the people that are doing it in that way, are really winning. But it's the people that are kind of not taking advantage of these ultimately, what a lot of the time are quite simple things you can do, are missing a trick. And I guess that's the risk for people that aren't, is that there is lost opportunities, and people do kind of get quite offended when they do see something that's really, really irrelevant. But I think some of those examples there, Marcus, are great kind of use cases for the personalisation that you don't know is happening. And you're right, Reece, we live in a world where it's just natural. We expect everything to be so personal to us.
It's like Netflix as well, Luke. I learned this.
That's annoying, isn't it? Like, when someone else watches your Netflix account,
it completely transforms it.
It's annoying though.
So we as a family, Kirsty's family, have my username on Netflix. Don't ask me why, but I can tell when certain people within her family have watched it, because it completely transforms what they're trying to serve me as what they think's relevant.
But they do some quite cool things with their covers, don't they? Of the shows.
They do. So if you they have, don't hold me to this, but they may have like 20 different versions of the front title of a documentary or film. So we'll all see a different front cover to a film or documentary.
And then it works out what you react well to, what you don't react well to, and then serves more of the same, right? And I think it kind of goes back to something you just touched on, Luke, that I think you mentioned, like, a lot of it you don't know that it's happening. And for me, I almost think when we talk about the perks and the perils of personalisation, I think when it really works is when you almost don't notice it's there, right? It's like a good waiter. The best ones you don't really notice are there. I think that's like it with personalisation. And to jump ahead, when we talk about the perils, I think sometimes too much personalisation can come across a little bit freaky and could kind of be detrimental as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Potentially.
And that's the thing. There's some really, really good ones which we'll go into now, and then I think there's the perils. There are some kind of misuses or mistakes that do happen, or just some damn right sort of scary things that can happen, and we have the ability to do. But let's pick up on kind of the perks. So there's some really exciting ways, some that people do know that's happening, and people that don't know is happening. So I guess some of the things that people do know is happening, I guess one of the really, really simple ones in terms of personalization is kind of either ad copy or the imagery you see in ads. So if you imagine a Facebook ad, for example.
Yeah, so dynamic remarketing, obviously you can update products that the user is seeing based on what they've browsed before, so what people have added to their basket and not actually purchased. We may have all been on Amazon today and looked at products. Like, when each of us goes to our Facebook feed, we should potentially see a different ad based on what we've all looked at. So that's personalised remarketing.
And that's a good thing. Reece mentioned it earlier around the sort of the amount of freedom we have in personalisation on sort of direct mail pieces, is that me and Reece could receive the same mailing from the same brand. We wouldn't know it, but I'm being shown one creative and Reece is being shown another creative. It's the same as on digital, is having that emphasis on showing the right people. And again, to go back to, I think it was the first episode we did around humans, knowing that human and being able to show them the right kind of content for them can be hugely powerful.
Yeah, massively. There's a brand I worked with in the past, a travel company, and they were sending people past holidays they've been on. So there was a letter in an envelope, really cool, and it was like, "Hey Luke, this is the holiday you went on your honeymoon, or this is the holiday you travelled with friends on. How about trying this place?" So back to your point, we're all thinking we're receiving a personal letter, which we are, but everyone hopefully in that database is getting one. So it's a blanket campaign with a personalised message.
That's very cool. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
That's very cool, and I think that goes back a little bit to our first episode around knowing your audience. Is like they know their audience is going to have like a nice feeling. When you think back to old holidays, or you look at pictures of old holidays, it's like nostalgic, and you think, oh, wasn't that great? Like, and then, oh, by the way, why don't you try travel with us to this location next year? Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah, or they should know your birthday, right? So like, why not send someone like, this is the holiday you went on before, but how about going on holiday here on your birthday? Here's the deals on that weekend, or here's the deals on that week, or the data they're collecting on us, they should be able to serve us relevant messages that would hopefully get you to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
There was a great example of I think Marcus, you raised it the other day around. I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but Mr. Porter used to personalise their homepage, and obviously for all three of us sat around the table, we had the same homepage, but it said Mr. Knight when you logged in. That was such an awesome experience. But that's, I think, a great example of where, obviously, that's quite blatant. It says your surname, so people do know that's personalised. But a lot of the times, people won't necessarily know that their kind of homepage or website experience has been tailored to them. So, I don't know, the images you're seeing on the homepage, or the offers you're seeing, or the products that are being recommended to you, they're all, well, if done in the right way, they're all tailored towards you, which is amazing. And I think that's a great example of where personalisation is happening kind of under the radar. And that is the best kind, where people don't know it's happening.
Completely. There's another cool one to get sort of into the specifics of Google Ads. There's a feature that some people don't always know about, and it's called if function ads, right? So I can write an ad and I can put in it, if someone has been to my website before, tell them this. If they haven't been to my website before, tell them this, right? So it's a very, very simple way. So I guess a very simple example would be never purchased or purchased, right? So then I can say, if they've purchased before, give them a 10% loyalty discount, and say that in the ad. If they've never purchased before, say 10% new customer discount. I don't have to do anything when that person searches. It's just now the ad gives a personalised message to someone based on whether they've purchased or whether they haven't. Like, very, very simple, but very cool, I think.
And that is a fantastic example of personalisation, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Some people probably wouldn't. If we ask someone of a definition of what do you believe personalisation is, they wouldn't think of stuff like that. And I think you're right. A lot of it is the stuff they see on, like, they can touch and they can feel and they can see that, oh, personalised means it's got my name on it. But that's, I think, a fantastic example. And similar to that, we've spoken about exclusions before, haven't we? Like, not showing people certain advertising, I believe, is a certain type of personalisation. If I've been to your website before and I may already be a customer, by not showing me an ad, excluding me from, I don't know, say a brand ad, because I just Google the brand every time I want to log in, that I believe that's a form of personalisation. It's personalising my online experience.
Yeah. Or the other option would to say, like, for me, for example, is NatWest, who I bank with. Like, I'm not sure, but the last time I searched their brand, I got an ad, and it was just a brand ad to click through to the homepage and get a new credit card or whatever, which I don't actually need another one of. But like, what they could instead do, exclude me, like you've just said, Luke, or they could say, like, thanks for coming back, you're a loyal customer, or why don't you rate us on Trustpilot, like, or use the ad or something to personalise it to me as a customer of theirs. I've been a customer of theirs since, like, whenever you can get your first bank account. Like, I don't know how long, but
What's your sort code? I bet it's the same Billericay sort code as mine.
I didn't realise it was an area sort
that's
code.
what a sort code is for the branch.
Branch sort code.
Didn't know that.
You learn something every
Something
episode.
new every day.
Head of finance.
No, I think that's a great example. I think just there's so much exciting stuff you can do to personalise people's experiences, and that moves beyond moves out beyond our scope of where we focus as Prospect Night. But of course, you can personalise your marketing experience in terms of, I don't know, is it the ads you're seeing or not seeing, the direct mail you're doing, the email marketing activity, all of that. But it goes way beyond, doesn't it? It goes way beyond towards just your overall experience of a brand is massive, and it's all about that personalisation. So when does it go wrong? Because it does. It goes wrong a lot, and I think we've probably all got handfuls of examples of where people have probably tried to be personalised, or they're trying to be personalised and they've got it completely wrong. It can go wrong, and I guess let's just spend a bit of time just talking about kind of the perils or the potential downside to personalisation.
Well, one I mentioned earlier, Luke, was about dynamic retargeting, where we'll browse on Amazon. This is just an easy example because we all know it, but we'll browse on Amazon at some products, we'll buy it, then we'll go to Facebook, and then we'll continue to be remarketed for a product that we've already purchased. So in terms of when personalisation can go wrong, I think that's a big one. They've made an effort to personalise. I'm not saying Amazon do this, I've just used it as an example, but they've made an effort to personalise and got it wrong. And you see a lot of people doing it. I see it all the time. And I think I've heard other people say it as well. Like, I've purchased that product and I'm still being remarketed it.
Yeah, and again, it's an easy fix. We're not here talking about the fixes, but adding sort of like exclusions or having sort of dynamic lists where people can be updated when they've purchased stuff, to then exclude them is an easy fix to that point. But that's for another episode. No, 100%. I think people have got the opportunity to do some amazing things, and I guess we're in the industry, so we kind of know a lot of the backgrounds of how these things are working. But there is that general census of a sort of a negative perception towards this kind of personalization from kind of the Joe public. People do fear that businesses are listening to me all of the time and they know everything about me, and they're going to use that to kind of steal all my information. And obviously there's some bad people in the world that will do that, but more often than not, we're using it to give you a better experience. And that can only, if done right, that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I think essentially people are not using data in a sinister way other than just trying to get you to buy from them. So I think when personalization can go wrong is if someone's like, shit, how do they know that about me? Like, and it will freak them out and they'll think like they need to chuck their phone off a bridge or something. Like, so I think that's where what a peril of personalization is like, if maybe you get too personalized and it's going to freak someone out. But it's a fine line, right, of how you...
Yeah. The thing is, if you, Reese, were approached with an ad that literally had, I don't know, your son's name, it told you the age he's going to be turning soon, and they were like, and you want him to buy this kind of remote control car or a sitting car, like, some people might seem that as too much. They might say it's too far, and they go, no, it's really, really intrusive. Someone else might say, you know what, actually, they've got their targeting nailed on.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think it's one to probably debate over a beer, right? Because I think everyone's different. Like, for me, if I was served something of relevance and they actually took the time, and we know how much work goes into serving someone that ad, saying like, hey, like, Jude's going to be 2 in December, why don't buy him this on this day? I'd probably look at that and go, fair play. Other people may look at it completely different.
And that's where I think people notice personalisation when it's wrong.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You've both heard me use my beard example, right? And of which I have an update on. I did a LinkedIn video a month or so ago, and I was really having a rant on. I keep getting adverts that are showing. They're for like razor subscriptions, and they're showing guys that are shaving their beard completely clean off, and it just really pissed me off because I was like, you could make a bit of effort and target me and exclude me because I have an affinity to beard brands, beard products, whatever. But actually, so that was bad, and it really pissed me off. But now. And maybe it's because they watched my LinkedIn video and they listen to me. I like to think that. But now I kind of, they're really varying their content. And there's one of the ads I see is with a guy with a beard, and he's literally just using the razor to kind of neaten himself up and just trim the edges.
They're the ones you're seeing.
They're the ones I'm seeing. Now, I don't know whether you guys are seeing them. Obviously, we'll have to look for each other's feeds. But I think that's a great example for me. If I saw that for the first time and there was a guy with a razor and he was just trimming the edges, I would have had no negativity towards that brand. I thought that was awesome. The fact that I saw the first time round that there was a guy clean shaving, I just went, this is I've got a beard. This is irrelevant. And I know people sort of gave me a bit of stick online and said that's quite tough targeting, but with a bit of effort you could do it. But that's kind of not my point. The point was really that I noticed it more when it was poorly personalised. So I guess really the upsides, the perks, is when if people don't notice it, then it's just good personalisation.
I guess on that topic then, actually, another peril of it in some ways, I think, if you can call it that, is that it's actually very hard to do. So it's not necessarily a peril of the outcome, it's just for us on this side of the table. And I think why lots of people don't get as involved in personalisation as they could is that it's not easy to achieve and it's not easy to do well. The other side of that is that it can also be more expensive. This is one thing that I find a lot with Facebook advertising.
Yeah,
is that the broader you go, because Facebook, obviously being a commercial beast, understand that the broader you go, the more money you're going to have to spend. So they kind of reward you with cheaper CPCs, cheaper CPMs, because you've gone super broad, right? So you're kind of being rewarded to go broad because it's going to cost you cheaper per click. And I think the beard example is really funny because I actually spoke to somebody who looked after a marketing campaign for a very well-known razor subscription company. And they said the best audience they found was just males aged 18 to 64. That's the one that worked. And they was just targeting all men at that sense, right? So that goes against everything we believe in, but it worked for them.
But the thing is, and I'm sure the data would show that it worked. It drove sign-ups and registrations and conversions and whatnot. But obviously, again, this is definitely for another episode. But what they've probably not looked at is the amount of wastage in that.
Oh, it will be huge, yeah.
I mean, I imagine out of that audience type, there's a large majority that are clean shaven or have a stubble. So us with solid beards.
Marcus is the biggest.
Marcus is the biggest clean shaven fan out there. But no, I assume you can. There's always two sides to the coin, isn't there? You can look at it and go, that was a really effective campaign. But then actually a cynic would look at it and go, yeah, but look how much wastage. That could have been a lot better. But no, I completely get your point.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right at all. I think just in terms of talking about the perils of personalisation, I think it's more time. It's harder to do, essentially. And it can sometimes be more expensive as well. But we're positive that if you look at the end results, like, it will be better if you look after the audience.
I think that's such a fantastic point. Like in a world where it is sort of everyone's time poor, there's so much going on. Any channel you look at, whether it is direct mail, whether it's advertising, whether it's your email campaign, whether it's anything, it is going to take more time, more effort, and as to your point, Marcus, more budget to do this properly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the downside, and that's probably what does put people off. But completely agree, the benefits are going to outweigh those. Absolutely.
So Luke, there's another peril on personalisation. It was our dad received a piece of direct mail from Sky. The message was to a Man United fan or a Liverpool fan, introducing the new season, the new fixtures, and upgrading to their team channels. And they were just assuming Dad, living in the south, was one of their supporters, and
so they've they'd personalised it to him.
Yeah.
So it was prospecting, but they'd said, come and join your team here
in bold letters. And if you go on our LinkedIn, I think it's on my dad's, Mark Knight. If you go onto his LinkedIn, you'll see in bold in the letter it says, "Come and see your team."
So they had tried to personalise that to a Liverpool or Man United fan.
Correct. Not knowing or just assuming that he would be a fan of them.
But that's crazy, though, because even in itself, when you look at personalisation, why have they personalised two teams? Like, if you're going to choose one, like...
It's pure laziness for me. Like, if you look at it black and white, it's pure laziness. But a peril of personalisation is when personalisation goes wrong, like Marcus said. So that is a great example of someone just being lazy and just going spraying and praying.
I guess the advice there then is, if you're going to try to personalise, make sure you get it right.
Well, Sky, I don't know this for definite, and I'd love someone to comment. Sky should have that information, right? I don't know if they can just get it from someone's download history, which you'd see Dad has probably saved all of the Spurs fixtures, but I'm sure that they should know, or even if they don't, why don't they ask that question when people ring up? When people ring up for a new deal, or it's just, for me, I'd love someone to comment, but I think it's just very, very lazy tactic of personalisation.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's easier said than done, sort of just sitting here and saying, yeah, you need to give people far more kind of personalised experiences. But we do another episode on sort of the tech that can sort of support you in your audience strategies and so forth. But really, it's about setting yourself up to collect the right data. Collecting the right data will allow you to kind of understand your audience much, much better. And then that's what's going to be able to fuel any personalisation you want to do. Because without that data, I mean, what are you personalising the experience on? So set yourself up to have that right kind of customer data strategy, which is going to fuel any personalisation you want to do.
It's huge. Imagine if they just asked what team you support or team you follow. Like you mentioned earlier, that the print technology now can completely personalise a letter in terms of colours, images, right? You ask a person who signed up to the sport package, firstly, what sport you follow, and then secondly, what teams you follow within that. Imagine we get your bill through the post and it's got a picture of like Pochettino on it. You might react better to that than if it was like an Arsenal player. Like, it's
Marcus, 100%. I know for a fact when you log into Sky Go, it asks you for what team you support. So they have that data on us. Yeah, so like, it's madness. Like, how can you send someone like assuming they support that team?
Yeah,
that's just pure spraying and just hoping that someone supports that team within that area.
And the worst bit about that is it said come and follow your team, Liverpool or Man United. Like, those teams are arch enemies. So even if you are one of those teams, you're probably going to be annoyed.
100%. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, even if they targeted Man United, Liverpool fans, the messaging in it was completely wrong.
Yeah,
they should have just done two. If they knew what teams they support, people supported, too creative. That's it. That's simple. Two creators, Man United, Liverpool.
Hold on, we've got a live call in the studio. We've got the the CMO from Sky's just called up. What's this? You want to give us a contract?
No, but I think there's so much opportunity, and we are in an exciting time of business. It's not just about marketing, where we can give people these personalised experiences, and it goes back to what we always talk about, having audiences at the heart of everything you do, and really understanding those audiences on a human level, having as much kind of information and insight on everyone as possible is going to allow you to just nail the personalisation, nail people's experiences, communicate with them on the right channel in the right way, and it just fuels everything. So it's been an exciting conversation to have a chat around kind of the perks and perils of personalisation. I thought I'd try and say that one more time. So yeah, so hope everyone's enjoyed listening. I've been Luke.
And I'm Reese.
And I'm Marcus.
And we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks again for listening to the Audience Marketing Show. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about Prospect Night, you can find us on the socials or by visiting www.prospectnight.com. The final episode of this series is going to be an Ask Us Anything. So as you're listening throughout the season, just drop us a message, drop us a tweet, LinkedIn, wherever your favourite social platform is. Ask us any questions you have on audience marketing, and we're going to do a nice summary in the final episode. So we look forward to hearing your questions.